What's going on, guys? Pena here with another real estate video, and today we're going to be touring this beautiful home out in West El Paso, and at the same time I wanted to drop some very key components that you should definitely be asking your agent when you are considering hiring them, whether that be for your buying needs or your selling needs. Definitely things you want to consider. With that being said, let's dive deep. When you're considering interviewing somebody for your selling needs, for instance, one of the key things you want to consider is what is the marketing strategy that they're going to do for you. I've seen it time and time again where agencies get the listing, they sell the seller on the things that they're going to do, but once the time comes to actually move forward on their marketing techniques, all they really do is get the listing and put it on the MLS. Now, why is this a disservice to you? Because they're not really putting any marketing effort into listing your property. All that's happening is that the buyer's agents are actually the ones bringing buyers to your listing. Therefore, in reality, it takes away from that negotiation that they said they were going to do to really execute on getting you the best deal possible. Same goes for a buyer. If you're in a situation where you are looking to buy a home and your agent just tells you, go with this lender, and they're not helping you compare, whether that be rates, whether that be incentives, you really start wondering, what is their agenda? Why is it that they're not giving you all the facts? For instance, I had a client, they were qualified, their interest rate was pretty high. I knew that from experience based on other files we had seen. And I told them, honestly, you should consider submitting an application with another company just so that we can compare and truly see what would be the best fit for you. So this is a key component. You want to make sure you're really asking them, how are you going to negotiate for my best interest? Key thing that you really want to consider is negotiations. There's three main negotiations that happen in a real estate transaction. Number one is going to be when you're making an offer. That means you still have not decided on what exactly it is that the sellers are either going to accept your offer for or where you're at necessarily, because if other offers come in, of course things can change. This is very important. Now, the second part of this is your inspections. After you have received the inspection, typically, there's going to be things that are going to come about on the inspection report. Now, if you're considering buying a new home, these are things that your agent can simply take back to the builder and ask them to actually take care of. However, if you are in a resale situation, these things are all negotiable. And depending on the negotiation skills that your agent has and that the listing agent has, this is where you really want to ensure you're getting, realistically, the best deal possible. And the third component to that is your appraisal. If in a situation your appraisal comes in below the asking price, let's just say you offered $500,000, the appraisal came in at $450,000, well, what's gonna happen now, right? If you're in a situation where your agent doesn't know how to negotiate, you're now essentially going to lose out on that house if you're on the buyer side, because of the fact that they're going to go back and say, you know what, unless you can drop the price, it is what it is. A lot of the times what has happened in our situation when we had an appraisal come in lower, we typically see the market, we see what other houses are either actively on the market or have closed, and what I'll do is I'll either tell the listing agent, look, realistically, this is what the comps are coming in at, things have changed, you can either advise your seller to leave it on the market, waste time, or we can move forward, adjust the price, and let's get this taken care of. That's just something that you definitely want to keep in mind. There's another quick note on negotiations, which typically involves ensuring that the house is clean at the end when you're going to get your keys delivered, ensuring that they didn't leave anything behind. Those are just a few key things that when you really are dealing with somebody that knows how to negotiate, you want to make sure that they have your best interests. Another key thing that you really want to ask, and I'm a little biased about this, so I'm definitely going to share my opinion at the end. But number one is, are they full-time or are they working as this being a part-time job? Now, the reason why that's super important is because there's a lot of agents out there that when they're starting off, they're not necessarily full-time. Let's just say you are in a situation where you want to go and see a house and they're not available for your schedule. That's going to really make things very complicated. Maybe you lost out on the house, maybe somebody else came and actually was able to see that property and now you're competing with other people. These are very important things. However, a lot of agents, they kind of caught up with this and they'll say, well, yeah, I'm full-time. Ask another question to really probe to find out if that is really the case. Some agents, whether it's their team leaders or they're in a situation where they're a solo agency, it's okay if they have other things that they're working on, but they need to have a system in place. If they're the only agent and they're gonna have other businesses that they're attending to and they can't really take care of you, then that's really not going to work in your best interest. That is something you definitely want to keep in mind. Some agencies, they have their assistant, they have a transaction coordinator, they have other agents. So in an event where that specific agent isn't available, they will have somebody to be able to respond to you as quickly as possible. So finding out whether this is a full-time job or a part-time job is very important to ensure that you have the communication that you really need. For number 4, you definitely want to consider the communication. And I'm kind of gonna piggyback off of the last point, but the communication is super important, guys. There's so many agents out there that you will literally call them. You will not get a response, like no responses for like days. Now TREC has actually implemented a new rule where they have to respond to emails within 24 hours. If not, they can get penalized. So now they're getting a little bit better about that. But even phone calls, good luck getting an answer. So this is something that is very important. I understand everybody's busy. I understand not everybody's gonna answer right away. And obviously we all know this, right? We have lives, we have other clients that we're also attending to, but you at least wanna get acknowledged. Sometimes I'll be in a meeting, whether it's a governmental affair meeting, whether it's with a TREC meeting, and what we'll do is I'll send a message and I'll let them know, hey, I'm on a meeting, I'll give you a call back as soon as I can. And if it's very urgent, I'll right away send it over to my assistant so they can reach out to them and find out what is going on. This is so important because it helps you feel comfortable. If you're in a situation where you're negotiating repairs and you're just really anxious to find out what's happening, it's super important that you feel like your agent is taking care of you and truly communicating in the best of their abilities to ensure that you feel comfortable. So definitely do not underestimate how important communication can be. last thing you really want to consider when you are interviewing, whether it's an agency, a realtor that's going to help you with your buying or selling journey, is to ensure that you can get some testimonials. And this is super important, whether it's on their website, whether it's testimonials from other clients. Ask them to see the reviews. Social proof is so important. I have some like avid cheerleaders that will literally say like, if you ever need me to give a recommendation, like give them my number. And that's the kind of work that you want to be around. You want to be around people that are genuinely happy to recommend who they worked with because they were actually happy with the result. They didn't feel like another number. They didn't feel like they were sold. They actually felt like they were guided. And in turn, that makes you feel like you are in the right hands. So ensuring that you are getting somebody that's going to have those testimonials to share with you is super important in that journey. So with that being said, I want to thank you so much for watching this full video. Thank you for all of the support. We've been seeing your guys' comments and we appreciate it deeply. And if there's anything in particular that you guys would like to watch in our next episode, please let us know. And as always, I hope you guys have a great day.